This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2018 BMW X5 35D. Up front is a 3.0 liter twin turbocharged straight six that is diesel, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. This video is sponsored by CarMarshal.com. If you'd like to support the channel, click the link down in the description below. CarMarshal.com advertises for over 100,000 vehicles across the US. But let's get back to that 3.0 liter straight six. Now, for BMW fans, or anyone else, you might recognize the fact that BMW uses a lot of 3-liter inline sixes. This is not the same engine that is found in the gasoline 3 Series or anything like that. This is its own separate thing. It is a twin turbocharged inline six that is diesel. That is why the D is at the end of 35 in the title. And this is my first ever diesel BMW that I've ever driven. Sorry, Jared. I'll get to your car soon enough. It's a little bit different of an experience, but not as much as you would probably think. When I told my parents that I was going to drive a diesel today, they said, ugh, a diesel? That's the sort of stigma that comes with owning a diesel, driving a diesel here in America. In Europe, that's run-of-the-mill. You could get a diesel anything. But here in America, when we think diesel, we think of our big old pickup trucks. We think of our semis, our 18-wheelers, as I'm watching one try to make this turn. Oh, he did it. Nice. Here in America, it's kind of associated with dirty, loud, clinky, soot, not great adjectives, if I'm absolutely being fair. And so really, here in America, if you're not a farmer, why would you buy a diesel? And by the end of this video, I hope to answer that question. But that being said, it's nice and quiet. That's the thing, is that if I didn't know that it was a diesel, if I wasn't told going into this, if I didn't do some research on the diesel engine, I honestly wouldn't really notice that much of a difference driving. I mean, actual driving feel, this kind of just feels like a BMW. Although what is different is the red line. This peaks at about 5,500 is where their harsh red line starts, but you're going to be shifting well below 5 every time you drive, and of course you're not shifting, the car is shifting itself. But it's not clingity clangity, it's not tinny. It's 20 degrees today and it started up first crank. All of those bad adjectives associated with diesels don't really apply to this. It's not dirty, it's not loud, it's not obnoxious, it's not soot covered. It's just a different way of doing things. Okay, now that we are on the test track, I am noticing the fact that it's a diesel just a little bit because it has a lot more torque. In first gear, it really feels like it wants to shift. Like if you've ever driven a manual car and you just leave it in first gear and you just tap the gas and it's like so much torque at once. That's kind of how it feels like. All right, so we are going to go into Sport Plus. This car has 40,000 miles on it. So it is broken in, it is warmed up. Sport Plus, here we go. Okay. Okay. Wow, as you guys probably saw in my face, I didn't expect it. That's really spooled up high. That there was a little bit of lag there. Actually, a lot of bit of lag. But once it hooks and once it goes, this thing goes. This is not a slow vehicle. Another thing that a lot of people associate, a lot of common people, a lot of non-into-car people associate with diesels is that they're slow because they see a semi that's diesel and it's going, 10 under in the left lane. Or you think of big trucks, and as people know, you can tune a diesel and they can be pretty quick. But this, right out of the factory, no tune, nothing. It's just, this is quick. This is a quick SUV. You don't lose any speed or anything like that when you buy a diesel over the gasoline version. And so like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. BMW uses a lot of these, and the story's the same throughout. It's a good system. It's a great transmission. Shifts when you want it to. It's not annoying, and that's all I could really say about it. And last but not least, the 35D is all-wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. They look like every other set of BMW gauges. On the far left is my fuel, which specifies that this is a diesel vehicle. Then I do have my speedometer with my MPG gauge down below, which actually shows me miles till empty as a gauge, which I really, really like. And then I do have my tachometer to the right with that hilariously low red line. And then, of course, oil temperature, which I really, really like. I've always liked BMW gauges. I think they're set up really simple. They're easy to read. And I really like that. And going off the gauges, I do have a heads-up display right now displaying the speed limit on the road as well as my current speed. On the steering wheel, I do have my cruise control settings on the right and my phone volume. On the left, I do have my cruise control. I do surprisingly have paddle shifters. If you would like to paddle shift, you can do that. Now, what I really think the reason behind that is because if you're gonna get a diesel, you could probably tow a little bit more. And so if you wanna hold it in a certain gear, it's mainly what the paddle shifters are for, because this really isn't that sporty of a car. To the left, I have my headlight and fog light switches, and on the door, I have my lock and unlock and my window switches down below, as well as a trunk release, things like that, pretty simple. In the center, I do have the normal BMW infotainment system from the late 2010s. I really like it. It is touchscreen. It's very easy to read, very easy to see, very intuitive. And we'll also talk about that when we talk about the Selector, because I think BMW really does nail it with their infotainment system. Down below the center screen, I do have a button with this little glowing green circle around it. This will turn on and off my pedestrian safety, lane departure warning, active blind spot detection, all my sort of safety features, my, I guess, bubble around the car, you could toggle on and off with this switch. This would be if you're going to off-road or if you're going to do something where you're going to be parking really close to someone or doing, I don't know, stunt driving or something. You can turn that off so then the car doesn't freak out when you're that close to a wall. You know what you're doing, but the car doesn't really know your thought process. So you can turn that all off right there. Then I do have my climate control options, dual zones, heated and cooled seats. I have my heated seat cranked up today, but pretty basic settings there, nothing too crazy. And then I do have a CD player and my favorite buttons. So what I really like about these favorite buttons is the fact that you can set them to a navigation point or something else in the car. So it's not only hotkeys or settings for the radio, but it's for the whole car. Then I do have 2 cup holders, and we come down to the shifter. The shifter, it's okay. It's growing on me. It's not my favorite shifter in the world. You have to hit the button on the left to sort of get it into gear, whatever. But to the left of that, we do have some interesting things. We do have traction control off to start off with, up at the top. Then we do have driving modes. So we have Sport Plus, Sport, Comfort, and Eco Pro. So of course we'll leave it in Eco Pro for the remainder of the review, but it's nice that you get those options for sure. And Sport Plus actually does turn off traction control. So if you are gonna go, out to Autobahn Country Club and give this thing a few rips around the track, Sport Plus will take off the traction control. Then we have a little button with a P, and when I click that, I actually get a 360 view of the car, which is weird. As I'm driving it right now, it's actually giving me a 360 view of the car, which is just, it's so weird. It's really cool how they do it. There's cameras all around the car, and they sort of mesh it together to give a bird's eye perspective, but that is really something cool. I've never done it while driving. I'm a little bit thrown off right now. This is really, really cool. Now that button is for parking. It does have parking assist, which is really cool. That's actually the main reason for that button, but I just kind of got carried away with how cool the bird's eye camera is. But I do have a button for just camera. So I can hit it, and I actually do have a front-facing camera, which is really nice. Of course, I have a backup camera, but I have a front-facing camera as well, which does turn off above 10 miles an hour, and it says do not solely rely on this camera. I'm sure someone would try to just drive off of that like a video game, and that would not be too good. But it is really nice. If you're approaching something, you want to get as close as you can, it has a front camera, which is super helpful. Then I do have hill descent control. So as we know, this is basically cruise control for the downhill. It won't let your vehicle roll away. It won't let it go too fast. If it senses that the vehicle is going downhill and there's no gas input, but it's going faster and faster and faster, it'll start applying the brakes. It'll start drawing it back just a little bit. Then below the shifter, we have the power parking brake and auto hold. And then to the right, we actually have the selector wheel. Now this is for the center screen. We do have media, menu, map, communication, and navigation on it, as well as back and option down below. It has great tactile feedback. When you turn it, it clicks, it feels good, it feels right, it feels proper, and it feels solid. And that is all I can ask for from these little scroll wheels. Then I do have a clamshell center console, and then we get to the seats. The seats are nothing really too special. They are perforated leather, they are comfortable. Like I said, they're heated, power. The driver's seat is memory with 2 different memory settings, which I absolutely love. Now we do have back seats. Let's do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2018 BMW X5 35D. And I got a little clamshell opening cup holders that don't want to open right now. Oh, that's fine. I got a nice little cubby hole. Got them. But this does fold up, if I can do it, if I'm not stupid. I do have my own climate controls down here. They are set to 84 degrees right now because I am freezing. I do have my own heated seats as well. Panoramic sunroof, but before we talk about that, let's hop back and I'll show you guys the hatch. All right, so something I did not realize about the X5, at least the 2018, is that it is a 2-part tailgate. So this opens up, and then a little handle here. This folds down to actually form a tailgate. I love and hate this. You could sit on this, you know, if you're at a ball game or something. But then if you gotta get, I guess you could just lift the groceries over, but if you gotta load something, it's just another extra step. These are the floor mats because this is a used car. Nice rubberized floor mats, but really good size interior. I do have this nice little hideaway cargo cover. Why would you get anything besides this? Why would you get an X4? It just has way less room. So really like that. Middle seats do go down as well. So you got tons of space in the X5. Last but not least about the interior, we do have this giant panoramic sunroof, which I absolutely love. Now we got to talk about the exterior. I think it looks great. I really, really like the look of it. And honestly, I'm looking over here. 3 or 4 X5s have passed by on the road right next to us. Just a heads up. But I think it looks great. I know it's a year old at this point, but I still think it looks great. I don't think that BMW has gotten too far away from it. And honestly, I just really think it's a good-looking SUV. And that really goes into it. Again, it doesn't look like it would be a diesel. Unless you saw the D, you wouldn't think, oh, that's a diesel. Because who would have thought that this nice luxury SUV would be a dirty diesel? It's not even dirty. But my final talking point about the diesel, which first of all, let's end on my first talking point, my major talking point, which was this drives pretty much like a normal vehicle. If diesel's something that you want, you don't have to give up luxury, you don't have to give up quiet, you don't have to give up performance in order to own a diesel. This does everything that you want it to do and a little bit more. But my last talking point is I recently reviewed a 2016 BMW X4. And in that video, I said that BMW does not need so many SUVs. They make 7 different SUVs. They offer more SUVs than McDonald's offers different burgers, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that rant again, but what I will say is that this one makes sense. This one can stay. The 3 and the 5 that I've driven, those can stay. The 4, get it out of here. This makes sense. This is a full SUV. This is what you want from an SUV. The tailgate actually has room. It's tall. It looks like an SUV. It drives like an SUV. It has features like an SUV. This is an SUV. It's just like, do we really need it? The X5? Yes. Yes, we do. This is a almost perfect mid-size SUV. And so, if I were to do a rapture of BMW's lineup, this would be saved. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their diesel BMW X5. Really eye-opening for me. You know, I have to admit, getting into one of these, I was like, oh, you know, diesels are a little bit dirtier. And that's not the case with this. Really not the case. But huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville. They have tons and tons and tons of cars on their lot. They have over 400 cars in their inventory, 400 used cars, as well as if you want a brand new Toyota, they can order literally anything. They do have a Supra on the lot right now if you are interested in that. But huge thank you to them. Awesome customer service. Definitely check them out if you're interested in not only any vehicle, but a Toyota. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys. Aside from my soul.